Welcome to the Bourbon Van. I'm Phil.
I'm Julie.
Today is Whiskey in the Van Wednesday, and it's Julie's choice.
Today we're drinking Woodford Reserve Wheat, and the reason I chose it is because Phil hates it.
That's why you chose this?
Yep.
You didn't choose it because you love it?
I mean, I chose it because I do love it, and I've been grabbing it, and it's one of my go-to, especially now that the weather's getting warmer. But for some reason, over the first quarter, I've really enjoyed it, and he has a disdain for it, and to me, that's hilarious.
It's not this bottle's fault. It's like the cilantro thing. Sometimes you love something, sometimes you don't. This one has never really spoken to me, not for lack of being a good whiskey. It's a fine whiskey, just doesn't appeal to my palate. This is one that we bought in Oregon for $35, $36, 90.4 proof. Almost all Woodford is, and wheat whiskey.
I think it's delicious.
There's not a ton left. She's been reaching for this thing quite a bit.
I know. I think the first time I had it was maybe like December-ish, and that's how far we've come. So, and I'm the only one drinking it.
How far we've come. Yeah, exactly.
But, you know, one of the reasons I chose it is we are headed into summer, thank goodness, and I personally think this might be a perfect bottle for summer.
Well, that's a solid take. I will grant you that. This does have that fruit-forward note. Being a wheat whiskey, it definitely is going to have some sweetness to it, so I will grant you that. It's probably a decent summertime whiskey if you like this sort of thing.
Yeah, it's a little bit lighter, a little bit peachier, a little bit deliciouser.
All great examples of words that people say. This does combine wheat, corn, rye, and barley malt to craft a delicate, sweet, fruit-forward character, so they say. And now you know. So
see, it sounds lovely.
Let's get to the tasting, because they're going to want to hear what you have to say about the taste of this one. I'll give it a taste. We'll see, guys. It's just not my favorite.
I'm trying to convince him. He'll probably bring a little
sass.
Sass.
Expect that. Look forward to that. So before Julie gets to her honest tasting, I will give you one quick note. One quick note from me.
Fruit patch. It smells like a lovely fruit patch.
The one and only problem, honestly, I don't mind the palate, I don't mind the finish. The one and only problem I have with this whiskey, I think it smells like grass.
Yeah.
Wet grass. I can't get past it.
Hey, and maybe that's, like I just said, a fruit patch. So it's like you've got your fruit all out in the grassy knoll or the grassy farm. It's probably not on the knoll, but
doesn't that sound good? A fruited patch on a grassy knoll?
I just think it's light, it's airy. It's got some, good bourbon flavors in there, but it's just a really nice transitional whiskey.
All right, so give the people some notes on the nose,
sure,
other than what I just said, because what I said is definitely not helpful.
Yeah, so for me, it's really light. I get a little peaches. I think there's like an apricot in there. It's sugary. It reminds me of like a spring pie. It's not your like cherries and strawberries and raspberries and blackberries and all those kind of berries.
Can we have
like
a spring pie?
It's like more like an orange fruit, but not oranges, but like a peachy orange fruit.
I will grant there's some peaches, there's some citrus here.
Yeah.
Maybe a little citrus zest. Yes.
I don't know, I just think it's nice. I do understand there is a bit of a grassy note to this. So I will say Phil is correct. It's a bit grassy, but I kind of like it, and I think it makes just a interesting drink.
Yeah, this is one of those whiskeys where you recognize everybody's palate is super different. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. And I'm always looking for something different. I mean, I'm juggling my old fashions to my rum and cokes to my
gin and tonics,
straight ups to my gin and tonics to my beer
and wine
and wine. Oh gosh, I got them all.
Yeah. Should we get to the tasting?
Let's do it.
All right. Cheers.
Good luck. So I will say that there's nothing like wow factor about this.
I disagree. Wow. I really don't enjoy it.
But there's nothing like, oh my gosh, you just tasted something like crazy unique or crazy expensive or crazy whatever. I just think that it's a little bit mellow. it's a little bit off flavor profile, which is probably the wheat and some of these like more peachy oranger flavors, citrusy flavors versus like the strawberries and the, you know, the berries and all that kind of stuff.
I don't disagree that it has a nice sweetness and, and a really nice disposition. The one thing that I get as I sit with it, which is not what I get when I first sip it, obviously, but as I sit with it, there's a peaches and cream sort of thing going on there. I don't dislike that. I don't hate it, certainly. But, not my cup of tea.
Yeah. And
is that a good tasting note? The more you sit with it, it tastes pretty good.
Well, considering we went from I hate this to the more I sit with it's pretty good, I feel like that's like a 200% improvement.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have to hold my nose when I go in for a sip, and that's the thing that bothers me.
But I'm going back in and saying, you're right, it does have a very peaches and cream type flavor profile to it. I think the reason I like it so much is that super light, like I said, very easy to drink. There's no like heat to it. There's no ethanol. True. There's no anything that kind of maybe turns off any, like even a beginner whiskey drinker or bourbon drinker.
Unless you don't like wetgrass.
Unless you don't like wetgrass.
If you don't find the nose on this bottle offensive the way that my senses do, and that, you know, again, it's not as though I want that to be the case. I'd love to enjoy this bottle. It just doesn't speak to me. If this one doesn't turn your senses off at the nose, you're probably going to have a great time with it.
And I will say, I just did nose the glass a bit, and it does have a bit, and this is not working in my favor, of a fertilizer type smell to it. I'm from the Midwest. They love fertilizing the grass.
Well, they do.
It does have a bit of that, which is the wheat, I'm sure, that smell to it. I just think it's just an overall easy, pleasant, different, 100% different drink. And I just think it's just really nice for the summertime. I think it's just like a good, maybe a day. Of course, I have them on Friday nights, but like, but maybe it's just like a good day drink.
Yeah. Second sip, I get brown sugar. I get the peaches and cream again. I maybe even get a little overripe peach, which is not a tasting note that I usually get. I usually laugh at those types of tasting notes, but here it is.
I would agree with it. It's like the fruit isn't like fresh and crisp. It is like it's a few days older. It's been like sitting in that like sugary
here we go again.
Gooiness.
You love the funk.
I love the funk.
She loves the funk.
Yeah.
Here it is again.
I don't know. This is going to be short and sweet because this guy, not a fan.
I don't have much to say. I'm not going to give you a value determination or a bottle comparison because honestly, I don't have any. Mid $30 range if you like the flavor. It's great. And for comparable bottles, we just don't have any other wheat whiskey on the shelf. We've never tried, I don't think, any other wheat whiskey that has 51% or more wheat in the mash bill. It's just not something that we reach for. It's not something that we look for. Julie may start looking for them now that she realizes how much she likes this one. But I don't have any sort of comparable bottles or value estimation for you today. If this flavor profile speaks to you, go ahead and give it a shot.
And I was just about to say that, like, if you've been following along and you match my palate, which does like a little bit of the funkiness, a little bit of the medicinal, definitely that sweet candy, which you don't get in this bottle at all. But if you like a little bit of those mixes, I say give it a try. I think $35 for a Woodford is a good deal.
Yeah, it's solid.
I mean, it's just a interesting, you put it on the shelf, it's something different for people to try.
It is different.
It's hot outside. I don't want to deal with any of these like super hot whiskeys. I think it's just lovely, and it's just kind of a nice, springy, perfect for this time of year sipper.
Yeah, bit of potpourri, little floral,
a
little bit of rotten fruit, some white grass. If that appeals to you, go get it.
I like it.
Am I still helping?
Yeah. Can't all be winners.
I sure can't.
Even though I think it's a winner. Woodford wheat, baby. Like, comment, subscribe.
From wherever we are.
To wherever you are.
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone. Enjoy the Woodford wheat.